Om Shanti. Today in the blessing, Baba is talking about being in a combined state with Baba always. And Baba says that when you are in this combined state and there is a problem, you give it to Baba and become double light. And we all love this idea of giving our problems to Baba, don't we? We just love this idea that Baba should be whenever I have a problem and I should just be able to give my problem to Baba and become double light. But the interesting part of the blessing is not giving your problem to Baba. It's creating that state where you're so combined with Baba that you're capable of giving your problem to Baba. And if we have not created that combined state, then even if we love this idea of giving our problems to Baba, we can't do that. So let me read out the blessing. Baba says, the children who constantly stay in remembrance constantly experience his company. So if you constantly stay in Baba's remembrance, then you constantly experience his company. And when we come to Baba, some of you came just few days back to Baba. Some have been here for a little longer. But when we come to Baba, we are not in the habit of staying in the remembrance of Baba. And anything that you're not doing out of habit takes effort to initiate. So, there is this brother and he drinks very little water every day. His water intake is very less, half a liter or 3/4 liter water he drinks in a day. And then I told him, you drink more water. And then he was one day explaining how effort making it is for him to drink 2 liters of water a day. And I found it very amazing how drinking water can be so effort making. But if you're not in a habit of doing something, it requires effort. It requires effort until it becomes a habit. And Baba says, you also have to make this effort in the beginning to keep Baba in your awareness always. And I was once sharing in this class also that when I started making this effort, then when I left the center for some seva, I would always make sure that every 30 seconds I checked whether I have Baba on my side. And I would keep talking to Baba and discussing with Baba until I reached the venue of seva. And then one day I went, and all along I took Baba with me, and then I left him outside the door. And I went inside alone for seva. And then I realized I left Baba outside and came inside. So these are very interesting ways to put how this effort goes on. And once you start making this effort, this constant effort to stay in remembrance, then you come to a stage where you feel that Baba is your constant companion and you are never alone. And when you are in that stage, then whenever something comes to you, any problem, any difficulty, you will feel that I am with Baba and I can give it to Baba. Otherwise, you will try to give it to Baba, but because you don't have this realization of being combined with Baba, you can't give it to Baba, even if you want to. Do you get it? If somebody is living all alone and they are used to doing everything on their own, never taking help, then even if there is a big issue, they can't take help. They are not capable of taking help. So Baba says, train yourself to be in remembrance of Baba in whatever you do. You wake up, you eat, you drink, you walk, you talk, you pay a visit to somebody, you go for an errand, you go for a job, you're doing anything. Just always feel that Baba is with you and look up to his guidance, his direction. Keep talking to him while you're doing it. And when you train yourself in this manner, then when an obstacle comes, you will be able to give it to Baba. So this is something very interesting about the blessing today. And then today Baba talks about what faith fortunate children have. And I was thinking about this whole subject of fortune. And this question today that Baba asks, that what faith do fortunate children have, really got me thinking, what is fortune? Yes, what is fortune or bhagya? And what is the faith that a fortunate child will have, is the question that Baba is asking today. And it set me thinking, what is the definition of fortune? So you also think about it today. What is fortune? You got a car, you got a house, you got a job, you got money. Is that fortune? Yes. So there is karma and then there is destiny also. And I'm not talking about karma right now. I'm talking about destiny. And what is the sign of destiny? And what I realized today is the sign of destiny is that you recognize the bestower of fortune. God is called the Bhagya Vidhata, the bestower of fortune. And if you have faith in Baba, then that's a sign of you being a fortunate soul. And let me tell you, this faith cannot be developed. You either have it or don't have it. If you are fortunate enough, you will recognize that this is Baba, this is God, the Murli is spoken by Baba, and Baba is here to give me all the fruit of the 2500 years of devotion I have done. And you will belong to Baba, listen to Baba, do as he says. This faith in Baba is a sign of fortune. Do you understand this? Yes? How many of you have faith this is Baba? This is the Supreme Soul. Yes? So you are the fortunate ones. And you know why I call you the fortunate ones? Yes, I will give you a very simple example for this. So, there was this one sister, and she was suffering from schizophrenia. And schizophrenia is a acute mental illness, and she was suffering from that, and she kind of knew that it's schizophrenia because she had been diagnosed also. But for 25 years, she didn't take the medicine. She didn't take the medicine that the psychiatrist prescribed. And let me tell you that there are many mental illnesses which can be overcome through meditation, but schizophrenia is not one of them. Because you cannot meditate with schizophrenia, it messes up with your visualization and creativity. So for 2500 years, for 25 years, she refrained from taking the medicine. And then after 25 years, she was convinced by somebody, and then she took the medicine and she felt better within a week. And then she kept telling me, Didi, had I done this 25 years back, I wouldn't have suffered so much. And I asked her one question: why didn't you take it 25 years back? She said, I didn't have faith in psychiatry. So, you know what faith does? Faith enables you to take up the practice that's good for you. Baba tells us so many things. Baba gives us the formula, the roadmap, the pathway to peace and happiness. Baba says purity is the way. Baba says yoga is the way. But we keep delaying it. Why? Because we don't have faith in the teacher. And if I don't have faith in the teacher, how can I take up the teaching? And Baba says, those who do receive. So a fortunate soul has faith in Baba. And when a fortunate soul has faith in Baba, he has faith in what he says. And he does as he says and creates his fortune. So Baba says, a fortunate soul is the one who has faith in Baba. And if you have faith that this is Baba, and the Murli that you read is Baba's Murli, it is Srimad Bhagwanuvach. It is the elevated directions designed to make you elevated, spoken by the most elevated one. If you have that faith, then you do everything that Baba says. And if you do that, then you will become Sri Lakshmi Narayan. That's how certain it is. And it is this one thing, lack of faith, which doesn't allow us to do that. And faith is a sign of fortune. And I have done a lot of introspection on this subject. There is no way you can create faith. Faith is either there or not there. You either have the sanskar of faith or you don't, and that's fortune. That's your fortune. So, this is what destiny is about, and Baba today in the question very nicely puts it. Which faith do only the fortunate children have? The faith that the Father who makes our fortune elevated has come. We are receiving from the Father the fruit of our devotion. So we have worshipped God for so long, and He is here to give you the fruit of all that devotion. How many of you have faith that it is the same Baba who you worshipped, called out, begged, pleaded, and cried to in bhakti? He's the same one who has come and is answering all your pleas and requests and calls and love and everything. So, do you have that faith that He's the same God? Yes. And when you have this faith, that the Murli you read is the direction of that one, that is called faith. The Father has now come to take us back home with Him by restoring us the wings that Maya cut off. So Maya had cut off our wings by making us impure. And any impure soul cannot go to a pure world. And we are craving for a world of purity because purity is the mother of peace and happiness. So we are craving for a world of purity, but we do not know how to become pure. So Maya has cut off the wings, and now Baba is giving us the wings that make us pure. And what are those wings? So He gives us a pair of wings, Gyan and Yog. Knowledge and Yoga are the wings that again give you the lift of purity. And Baba says, I'm here to restore your wings, which enable you to fly to that world of purity. And this thing about being, changing your frequency to move to a different world is so interesting. And Baba also puts it into words today. We will read that also. But Baba says, those who have faith about all these things, that it is this Baba who has come to give me the fruit of devotion, make me elevated, and restore my wings. Children who have this faith are called fortunate children. And in the Murli today, Baba says, I will take you children back with me. I have only come to take you children back with me. You souls neither know your home nor yourselves. Maya has completely cut off your wings. It is because you souls are Tamo Pradhan that you are unable to fly. How can you return to the land of peace until you are Sato Pradhan? You also know that according to the drama plan, everyone has to become Tamo Pradhan. Now, sometimes people ask this question. If purity is so important, why did we become pure, or why God allowed us to become impure? So Baba says that according to the drama plan, you have to become impure. When you buy something new, can you stop it from getting old? No, that's the law of nature. Everything moves from a state of perfection to imperfection, order to chaos. This is the law of nature. So Baba says, I cannot stop you from becoming impure. But once you become impure, I come back and make you pure. That's my job. And Baba says, at this time, the whole tree has reached a state of total decay. No one here can have a Sato Pradhan stage. When a soul becomes pure here, he can no longer remain here, he would depart from here. This is a law that Baba teaches us. When you become pure, you deserve a pure world, you will not be able to continue in the impure world. And this is the law of vibration or frequency. So when you change your vibration, when you change your frequency, you will automatically move to an atmosphere corresponding to your vibration or frequency. And Baba says, you don't need to change the world. You become pure, you deserve a pure world, you move to the pure world. That's how it works. And that pure world will be created for you because you have started to deserve it. So Baba says, I give you the wings of Gyan and Yoga, which enable you to fly to that world of purity. And what are these wings of Gyan and Yoga? So Mama explains it today for us. What is Gyan and what is Yoga? How many of you read the Murli in the morning? How many of you sit in the class after reading the Murli? This is the way to be. Yes? So when you sit in the class, read the Murli and sit so that it makes sense to you. Okay, so when we do the manthan, it will make more sense to you if you read the Murli and sit. Of course, you can read it later, but it will make more sense if you do it the way it is supposed to be done. Then, so Mama explains what is Gyan and Yoga in the Murli today, but before that, I will discuss the beautiful image that Baba gives us, which you can use in meditation. And Baba says in the Murli today, I come to give you an injection. Okay? And I was thinking about this thing called injection. And when you want to give somebody an injection, you use a needle to transfer the contents of the injection into the body of the other one. Yes? And then they get better. And the buddhi is called a needle. Buddhi ki sui. And also, in that picture where the soul is depicted and the man, buddhi, sanskar of the soul are depicted, then buddhi is depicted as the pointer or the needle. And the buddhi is like a needle. And do you know, if you want to apply an injection, the needle needs to be very sleek and thin. So if your buddhi is very fine and fully concentrated into Baba, then this needle can help you transfer the contents of Baba's mind into your mind. Just like you plug in the needle to transfer the contents of the injection into the body, if you just plug in your buddhi, connect your buddhi in a very concentrated way with the mind of Baba, then the contents of Baba's mind get transferred into your mind. Do you understand this? Have you ever concentrated on a person? You sit in total remembrance of some person, and then their thoughts, their behaviors, they start to fill your mind. Does that happen? All you can think of is their image, how they talk, how they look, what they said. all of that starts to play on your mind. Similarly, if you sit in this concentrated awareness, connection, remembrance of Baba, then Baba's purity, peace, love becomes a part of your mind. And then Baba says, just like when a patient is given injection, they move from the hospital to their home. So you will also move to that world of silence and happiness when you get this injection from me. And you will leave this hospital. And I was today thinking, actually, this whole world has become a big hospital. And everywhere you have patients these days, both spiritual and physical. So you move from this world to that world where everybody is in good health and in peace when you take this injection from Baba. So it's a very beautiful image of what yoga feels like or looks like in the Murli, and that's the image of an injection. And Baba also says sometimes Gyan is injection. And I want to talk about that also. So, when you are injected a needle into your body, it is not a very pleasurable experience. You feel pain. But then later on, it heals you. And similarly, when you get Gyan in the beginning, you don't feel very happy. There is pain also. So Sri Krishna is not God and Shiv Baba is God, and then there is no idol worship, and every idol that you worshipped is just a creation. And then you feel all your bhakti shattering and you feel pain. Did you feel that pain? Yes, you felt like everything you've been doing for so many years, how does it not mean anything? And then Baba says, this is how it feels when you're injected with the injection of Gyan. But then, once that injection starts doing its work inside, it starts making you feel better. So slowly, gradually, you start feeling better after the injection, but while the injection is being given, it's not very pleasant in the first instance. So this is about Gyan and Yoga being an injection. And Mama also in the Murli today. So who is Mama? Mama is the one who is going to be Sri Lakshmi. And just like Brahma Baba was Sri Narayan, and he became the first one to imbibe Baba's teachings perfectly because he's again to become Sri Narayan. Similarly, Mama was the first woman to imbibe the Gyan perfectly because she is about to become Sri Lakshmi. And Mama usually explained Baba's Vani with great clarity, and today Mama gives an explanation about what Gyan is and what Yoga is. And I will read it out and explain as I read. Mama says, Yoga and knowledge are two words. Remembrance of God is referred to as Yoga. What is Yoga? Yoga is remembrance of God. The word Yoga is not used for the remembrance of anyone else. It is very interesting. All through the day, we keep remembering somebody or something, don't we? We are never without remembrance, but that is not called Yoga. So the word Yoga is referred to remembrance of God. The yoga that gurus teach is also of connecting with God, but they do not have the full introduction of God, and so they do not have much success in yoga. Now, somebody thinks that God is a flame, somebody thinks God is nature, and then they are all trying to connect to God in various ways. But because sannyasis, yogis, gurus don't have the full introduction of God, who He is, how He looks, where He stays, what He does, what is my relationship with God, that is why they are not able to have the full benefit of yoga. Yoga and knowledge are both powers, and by making effort in these two subjects, you receive might and you become a conqueror of sinful actions and make your life elevated. Now you see, everybody tells us that we should not do sinful action. Yes? And we also understand that we want to be elevated. We don't want to do sinful action, whether it is the sinful action through the mind, through speech, or through act. Everybody understands that I don't want to do sinful action. But if you don't want to do sinful action, the intention is not enough. You need power. And I always say in the class, good karma is the privilege of a powerful soul. You cannot do good karma if you're not powerful enough. A soul, the privilege which is available only to a powerful soul is good karma. And it is a very privileged thing to have. And Baba says, and Gyan and Yoga are the two things that give you that power to do good karma. So if you have the power of knowledge, the power of knowing who you are, and how many of you have experienced that at a point when you feel like saying something abusive or you feel like reacting, when you remember that I am a worthy soul, a powerful soul, and a soul who Baba is looking up to change the world, I cannot afford to do this. And that power of knowledge helps you or gives you the power to refrain from that negative action. How many of you have experienced that? Yes? So knowledge is power. Knowing who you are, knowing your quality, knowing your occupation, knowing what Baba has entrusted you with, and knowing who you belong to helps you, gives you the power to refrain from sinful action. And Baba says another thing is yoga. When you, in a very concentrated way, connect your mind with Baba's mind. Now, I gave you that example where you think about a human being in a very concentrated way. But when do you think about a human being in a very concentrated way? Only when you have a relationship with them? Yes? Only when you know them completely and understand them well? Only when you have some give and take with them? Yes? So there are three things which are important for yoga: parichay, sambandh, and prapti. Introduction, relation, and attainment. If you don't feel you know somebody, you cannot remember them properly. If you don't have a relationship with somebody, you cannot remember them with all your heart. And if you don't know what they're going to give you or what is your attainment from them, you cannot connect your heart with them. Similarly, Baba says, people in the world don't have Baba's full introduction. They don't know who Baba is. They don't feel that relationship with Baba. And they don't understand what Baba has come to give. And we children of Baba understand these things. And this is why we can connect our mind very lovefully with Baba. We can open our heart with a lot of love. We can remember Baba. And this remembrance, this connection is going to change what's inside us. Because when you remember the ocean of love, you become loveful. When you remember the ocean of peace, you become peaceful. But for that remembrance, you need parichay, sambandh and prapti. And only we children have access to that. And this is why Baba says, you have knowledge and you can be a yogi. And when you are knowledgeful and when you have yoga with Baba, then you become very powerful. And in this state of power, you will be able to refrain from sinful action. And Baba says, everyone speaks of yoga, but you first of all need to have the introduction of the one you are having yoga with. We receive God's introduction from God, and by having yoga through that introduction. So when you have the introduction, when you have the introduction of relationship, and when you have the introduction of what you get from Baba, and you do yoga keeping all that in awareness, we have total success. With yoga, we burn our past sins, and with knowledge, we realize what actions we have to perform in the future and why. Because you understand what actions you are supposed to do in the light of who you are. Okay? So this is about what Mama explains about Gyan and Yoga and the power of Gyan and Yoga today. Om Shanti.